Hey, love bugs, Roslynn back at you one more again. I hope everybody is doing blessed. I'm doing blessed and highly favored, and definitely hope the same for you. And if this is your first time stopping by my channel, much love to you and welcome. And to my returning subs, my growing, extended, beautiful family, as always, thank you so much for the love and support. It's truly appreciated. So with that being said, much love to all. Namaste. Love and blessings. Love and light. Many blessings are definitely coming your way. And if you've been watching my videos for a while and have not already, like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell at the bottom so you know I'm about to upload my next video. If you're comfortable, drop a line. I would love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me. Even if it's about the positive feedback to the content of the video, or you tell me about your empathic gift. And if you feel like the video is just, give you good vibes, you would love to share with a loved one, family, or a friend, or even a fellow empath that are going through trying times and need spiritual guidance or confirmation, validation towards life path, or even soul purposes, please go ahead and share. And while you're at it, give a girl a thumbs up, like, and also share on the social media favorites wherever you see fit. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. It's truly, truly appreciated. And I hope you're able to resonate with the content of my video. And the video I'm about to do right now is Twin Flame 101. Heyokas. Stop listening to the devil on how your destiny is destined. Okay. And a lot of times, and it's not saying that just to be poking and prying, but a lot of times we will not admit that we place doubt on ourselves. A lot of times we don't give ourselves that really vibrant credit that we really do need to be able to give ourselves credit for. A lot of times we fear of the judgment we get from people, because a lot of times with us being Heyokas, people see us as being conceited and very arrogant, and it's just the vibration, because I there's sometimes I ain't even gonna lie, I felt, and it's not saying I felt myself being above anybody, looking down at somebody like that. But a lot of times, it's like my elders say, you're feeling yourself a little bit too much. You need to allow yourself to recognize your own power, but stay humble about that. Allow yourself to know you can still be open to learning. That's a group, that higher type tier of powerful enlightenment. There's always something that you can learn, something that's going to add towards your repertoire of your insight that you really truly need to get, keep it moving. And it's just like you have a very powerful position into a lot of things that we're all coming together for. Even with the collective, there's a lot of different change. When I say that change is coming in, and it's testing you a lot. And it just seems like, why, I'm not getting a break. They ain't even press pause. No, because they really want you to see you have what it takes. It's like universe has confidence in us. Our guides have confidence in us, so forth. Our guides, our Senate masters, the tribal ancestors, collector of all that connects, they have that. And a lot of times, there'll be certain things that play out deja vu for you, because then you already know in hindsight, you've done this before. This was something you already knew was going to take place. You just didn't know, word for word, step by step, everything is going to play out. But it's something that gave you that. And I was like, why do I feel like this is a repeat? Because you're a big glitch in the matrix. And there's a lot of different things, devil want us to be dumbitdown.com to the point where it's like, and I use that word like dumbitdown.com because I'll be breaking it down for me. Just make it very easy. You ain't got to be all, but just say it how it is. But it's just a lot of times they want us to stay oppressed. They don't want us moving past our fears, because when we move past our fears, we start learning so much about ourselves. And it's just like, because there's a lot of things that make me look sideways. And I said, why didn't they teach us this in school? If we had school where they teach us how to value ourselves, being able to unprogram ourselves, allow ourselves to not be limited because of things that we were taught growing up. I mean, boy, when I tell you, there'll be certain things in school that was like, Dad, they didn't teach that while we were in school, but I wish they would, instill that in a curriculum, and it'll be a lot better, but these are those things where, there's a lot of challenges that will be put in our lives. And it's, you've been with me for a while. You hear me say it a lot of time. God and devil go hand in hand. They both are projecting something to you. But it's for different reasons. The devil want to do everything he can to make you doubt yourself, make you feel like God's lying to you about different things. He's leaving you unanswered promises that he placed in your life. And the devil lies about every daggone thing. He wants you to be in your head. You'll tend to go through that because you're going through a huge transition. We're all on the intense vibration that is holding heavy, massive weight on all the spiritual trends, and I mean transition, transmutation, what is it? Transcension, transascension, all these different things is taking place, and it's getting heavy, and you'll start noticing how things will stop and slow down, or it's just moving at rapid rate because you're jumping dimensions, you're catapulting over timelines. And a lot of times it may not feel like that, but when the more you start getting uncomfortable, already moved up about 5 or 10 paces and don't even realize that, because it's happening so fast, because there's so many different things the universe does not want us to stay stuck on. Ain't no point in it. It's like, look, you allowed yourself to learn from this. Why don't you allow yourself to go? Because sometimes we feel like we're not ready to go towards that next level. And your higher self is like, hey, we need to go. It's like, I don't know if I'm ready, because we'll have that what if vibration. And universe doesn't want us to be able to do that, but just flow with it. Don't try to swim against the current. You will never win that way. And those are the things that you have great power in you. We all do. Even the people that I feel like are, they're wanting to stay on projecting and not healing from wounds. I feel like everyone in this earth has a very unique thing about them, the all power that you can instill to make you grow in so many ways. But there's a lot of people that want to be able to take that shortcut without being held accountable for their actions, allowing yourself to keep it real, allowing yourself to see where you took part within your own suffering, allowing yourself to know how you can grow and take place and benefit off of your setbacks, off your mistakes, your toxic decisions, even the part of yourself that's toxic. Because a lot of times we're breaking away from toxicity, with people through our karmic timelines and karmic cycles. But they're also, don't just break away from that, break away from the parts that attracted them to you in the first place. Or, I mean, it doesn't always got to be the karmic relationships with lovers and friends with benefits, but it's like with everybody, because you'll start to know more that you allow yourself to unfold. You'll start seeing a lot of things that was hidden in our bloodlines on what has happened. We go and we like allowing ourselves, like, happiness is based on materialistic things. It's always good to have certain things, but you have to know where, there are certain people that they're not fortunate like us. Like I said, there's always somebody doing worse off than you. And there's a lot of times we sit here and complain about a lot of different things, and where there's some people out here got so many bad things that's taking place, they would love to have your kind of stress, and they always tell you appreciate a lot of things. When you take things for granted that God gives you, and he feel like you're not using it in the way you need to be, he can snatch you back so quick, because you feel, you get comfortable thinking things are going to stay that way for you. And it's just like, you can't play with God like that. He got very dark humor. It's like, okay, you want to treat this like a joke? How much I snatched that back like it was funny. I'm like, you got to be able to catch yourself, like, oh, pump the brakes, slow down. But allowing yourself to see your true potential in everything that you do. Because it's just like, when you are creating this vibration, it dissolves the void of you trying to place a void and getting external, fulfillment in that, when it needs to come from inside. Because a lot of times, we can get lonely and say, I want to just have a relationship, or I'd love to be married. And those are the situations that's holding on. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like that. You see different couples are coming around, or you're seeing people getting married, or other people getting engaged. And that can really feel, make you feel some type of way, especially when you want that so bad. And the universe wants you to have that too. But it's like, you don't need to jump into a relationship that God didn't use that was going to be destined for you. He wants you to place that love into yourself, loving every part of yourself, even the bad parts, allowing yourself to be so, stop being judgmental on yourself. A lot of times we can get mad because we're not this shape, or we're not looking at what, we're not looking like some of them Instagram models and all those different things. But just loving that part of yourself that is just like, if through the pandemic, a lot of people gain weight. I know I was going through mine as well. Mine was like emotional. Emotional eat. It was all about the depression I had. I fed it through food. And those are the things. It's just like I've seen myself, be ripped. I'm looking at different pictures, I'm like, ugh, but whatever. But it's just like, what, you did that. You were determined, you can do it again. And it's just, but loving yourself, because that you were going through a lot at that time, that's taking place, and you have to just love that part of yourself. Loving the fact that when you're allowing yourself to go through the unfold of disciplining yourself again, it's all about discipline and commitment with ourselves. Because a lot of times, I will not lie, when I knew it was different stages of myself, because at that time when I was really physically fit like that, I had so much stuff going on, and then I was self-medicating as well, of using ganja to get through a lot of different things, and it made me hyper. So I never sat down. I was always burning it off. On top of that, plus I had cancer and everything like that. So there was just so many different things was taking place in my life, to where I can't allow myself to self-medicate. I have to deal with all these things, raw and, uncut. You had to be able to go through it, because there's a lot of times we face a lot of things that we have to self-medicate ourselves for. I used to say, okay, I went through a lot of times where, I used herb just to get to my higher self. Because when I first started, I didn't know I had all these different gifts and, connections with a lot of things that had something to do with the earth, because I was always taught that if you talk about things like that, you can get put in a mental institution. They'll be locking you up. And when actually there's a lot of times we're labeled and not just realizing that it's not a mental label, but it's actually a spiritual gift, and there's some people out there that really do have different situations. I'm not trying to say in a negative way, but we connect to a lot of things through either genetics or some traumatic experiences. Things like that can happen, but there's a lot of things that can be confused as a spiritual gift to a mental illness. So it's just like a lot of different things has taken place where I had to allow myself to be okay to be loving myself who I am, and loving myself a lot more, where I'm nurturing myself to go through that initial change that really needs to take place. So all those different things, to not being judgmental towards yourself, speak good into your life, speak good into that vibration that you're trying to match yourself up with that change. And it's not easy to do that, because a lot of times you got to be brutally honest with yourself, because sometimes we avoid things because we don't want to hear what we truly have to do. And there's a lot of people that choose to not want to do that because, because it's like I was telling people in my chat earlier, I try to get myself in other people's heads that tend to, project, because I was like that. But I guess I'm just that type of person. I can be cruel, but there are certain things that I would connect with. I know I wouldn't do it that kind of way, but I can't be judgmental to another person just because I wouldn't handle that way. And we have that, we had that problem, because I always have to work on me not allowing myself to judge other people in certain things, especially if you go on a lot of social media. There, a lot of people feed into drama, especially when it comes do with celebrities. And there are certain times I don't caught myself. I don't see certain things that I can truly relate to that I've been through, but I feel sorry more for the people out there when they're in the public eye, because everything is public, and that can be very embarrassing, especially if you're used to being in the limelight, everybody in your business, but just allowing ourselves to just be able to take that change. The devil will allow you to feel like so many different things just riding against you, and that's what he wants to do. And a lot of times they make you feel like is you against the world, but it's actually you with the old you that's going against the new you that's trying to project out. And we're doing that through allowing ourselves to self-assess and being able to say, you know what, this part of me needs work. Allowing myself to be open and not be so fearful of what's coming around the corner. If you're being guided from universe, you should honor that, trust that, because they're not going to send you out to pastures. The next person, that's not guaranteed. We can't always have our full trust in man, because a man will disappoint you every single time. Some people will do it on purpose and some people will do it on an accident. But hopefully you can connect with people where you're okay at being hurt by that situation, and not saying it like, you like abuse. But there are some people that is going to really want your best interest at heart, really want you to be able to go fully in. You're going to be a blessing towards somebody that's going to connect with you and say, you know what, I want to see the best come out of you. I want you to be able to know I'm your support. I'm be your comforter. When you're lost, I want to be your compass. And when you need, when you feel doubt, I want to be your cheerleader. When you feel like you can't go on, I want to be able to help you give that energy to keep going, and those are the things you're using within yourself, because it's just so many different things that you hold power to that devil don't want you to be able to connect with. The devil really does not want that, because you hold a very big power, and he knows that you hold something that's going to be needed by a lot of people. And there's a lot of times where sadly there's people here that hold that fear of not wanting to connect with the wounds that they keep neglecting themselves, and it's at times, because I try to understand, why do they act that way? Why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? But there are certain times that, I'll look up a number and I get mad with the universe is saying, or, if it doesn't apply, let it fly, but if these are the things that you're needing to get by, because it's like God and universe is already where they need to be. They just trying to get you aligned with yours. And sometimes we gotta go with the flow of that brutal honesty. And it's just like, hey, this is trying to help you. Let me help you, and that's where it said, let me help you, help me, and me help you, So those are those things. Your destiny is all about what you allow yourself to transform within yourself. Everything that is taking place to act better in your life always starts with you. Universe doesn't say it until, it gets blue in the face, but it's just like, they can't force you to do, oh, well, never mind. Let me go ahead and retort and rewind back that. If they make you do it, you better be doing it when they tell you to do it. Because if they got to tell you to do it, I hope that you don't have to learn that. Put it that way. But yeah, there's a lot of things. It's like when I talk about that content, it reminds me of the movie Constantine. I love a lot of those movies that have something. I guess it really, as soon as I said that, got spiritual, got daggone chills. Oh my goodness. Ooh, that was very chilly. Going through all that, when I see a lot of things, I've always been connected to movies that had something to do with good and evil. I love The Exorcist. I watched The Exorcist when I was 9 years old. There's so many people that are still terrified from that. I ain't gonna lie, that mess really shook me. But then I started liking a lot of different stuff, The Legion, Devil's Advocate, Angels and Demons, different things like that prepared me for what I'm going through now. I've seen a lot of things that there are certain things I won't talk about, because sometimes that mess had me all confused on the things that I've witnessed, the things that's happened to me, or there's things that, I've connected with other people when I was helping them as well as helping in myself, because it was leading me more into parts of myself I didn't know I can be able to do. And when it did, it was just like the movie Constantine. If you watch that, Keanu Reeves was like one of us. He felt like it was a curse for the things that he saw, and it really messed him up mentally. So with him trying to, transition by making himself do that, kind of made God mad. So he's buying his way into heaven. You can't buy God's love. That's one thing you can't do. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people, project on other people and then hide behind the Bible or hide behind being a preacher or certain things like that. And I'm not saying every single person that is a deacon, preacher, priest, and stuff like that are doing a lot of things. But, I always tell people, and from what I've learned by experience and from what I've seen and known, there's difference between, religious people, Christians and Bible thumpers. They say, what's that? And it's just, like I always tell people, I respect whatever religion that you deal with, that's you. I don't believe in religion. And I said, from what I was taught within my connection with God, God doesn't like religion because it's kind of limiting you to certain things. If that's what you believe in, I'm not going to judge anybody. I feel like we can always disagree to agree. I never really liked religion on those things, but I respect it if that's what that person does. But I'm more spiritual because I felt like my spirituality, it connects me with everything. I don't need to, I can learn about so many different walks of life on so many different levels. But I feel like when you place yourself in a religion, it kind of limits you. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that are very strong Christians, but they felt like it was sin against God to allow themselves into their spirituality of being an empath. And I said, you have to understand, God was an indigo. He was I said Wendigo. Oh, Lord, excuse me, indigo. And a lot of things he's done that what it practiced, people see that, that's practiced as the dark arts. So there's a lot of different things that they changed about God's ways to be man-made on what truth they wanted to be able to show God with. And I just tell people, hey, when you allow yourself to be open towards yourself, there'll be more when you start connecting to the real you. You'll start seeing the different timelines are starting to run together. And when you're being more open and you're moving to that higher frequency, you'll see certain times when you transition, you'll see yourself in a lot of different eras in the life. I remember being in Egypt, I remember being in Iran and different places like that, Jerusalem and stuff like that. And it's weird, but I remember those different things. You'll find out, there's a lot of people I'm connected to that like stuff about the, Egyptian. I got a lot of stuff around my house with this related to Egyptians. Those were gifts, and it reminded me of a lot of things when I hold certain objects, and it takes me back to those times. But I always tell people, they used to ask me, it's like, Roslynn, it's just sinning against God for me, knowing about me being an empath or knowing about being a Heyoka empath. And I said, all the things that you're questioning about yourself, God was already, God was these things. And, there's a lot of times it's just like when you talk about witchcraft and paganism or voodoo priestess and stuff like that, it's always had a negative taint on it. And I always tell people, and even before I really knew, I knew that my bloodline was connected to those things, but I felt like it was all about the balance, even, it's like only got one child that actually allows herself to be open towards that spirituality. But my oldest one and my youngest one's like, Mom, when you talk about witches, that's devilry, it's devil work, and I said, no, everything has a balance to it, because a lot of times when I was very drawn to a lot of things, but I was closed-minded at times as well, until it was time for me to know. And then it was like that information was there that whole time. It was just not meant for me to know about it until I got to that point of going through my awakening. So it's just like I tell people, first thing people want to see is like pagans, Wiccans, and all this different stuff. They're automatically thinking that you're, putting hexes and curses on different things. Yes, I can say I can learn a lot of different things like that, but I choose not to touch that, because that's, you don't need to be manipulating with nature. You can have very strong repercussions for doing that, and I choose not to, because I feel like whatever's going to happen, it can take place without your influence on that. You don't need to mess up timelines as well as outcomes or shifts. That's something that you don't want to connect with, and a lot of times people learn out the hard way. But all those different things. But I always tell them, that's a part of God. If that's not a sin against him, because this is something he made up. These are certain things he created. Things was taught through him from, Jesus, from God and Jesus. So there's a lot of different things that's taking place into your life that may not yet make sense to you. And it's just like when you become to that turning point, and I tell a lot of people from situations of you going through a very intense spiritual awakening, is in reverse. You're waking a part of the spirit that you didn't know that was actually there for you, and you had to go through a certain amount of experiences, certain things you had to embrace on, and then God said, okay, it's time to wake them up. And there's a lot of times, it has happened with people that did not go through suffering. It was just time for them to be able to explore life, to help create that power of change is taking place. And it is going to be touching base with a lot of different people. And a lot of people feel like from their culture or their race, ethnicity, nationalities, and all these things, they felt like you had to be full-blooded Native American for that. And it's just, what us being who we are, collecting with the Lakota tribe and everything else. It was like that for a long time. But whatever God had in plan with, the Incas and the Aztecs, as well as the tribal ancestors, the shamans, and all these different things, there was something very great that God has in plan for it. But he had to hide, things in plain sight. And a lot of times in the devil's mind, it's like, oh, things are very valuable to God. He's going to make sure he hides it in places that, that can't, it can't be violated. And the best thing he did is hide his blessings of gifts in plain sight. And you are that plain sight, and then he made a big shift about it. So a lot of times people are like, Roslynn, I kind of identify with a lot of things that you talk about in your videos. Like I said, universe wanted me to stay on this. I've been doing this for almost close to, what is it, like 3.5 years, close to 4, of knowing about these different things. They wanted me to stay on it for that long. And I feel honored and blessed that I can move through that timeline on that, to educate myself as well, learning different things from other people, and as, being able to help other people as well. So, you're going through this, and it's just the more that you awaken, like I was saying, during your spiritual awakening, you will see a lot of things. It's like ish hit the fan as soon as you woke up. And I told a lot of people there'll be certain times that you'll wake up and you'll be very irritable. Be very irritable. That was the devil whispering to you. He already getting you off on the wrong side of the bed, because he's whispered to you. And I tell people, if you have different dreams where it has some kind of arousal with, that's how he gets to you, because there'll be a lot of things that you'll dream about, and it can be very disturbing to you, especially if there's certain things that you have not yet healed from. And that was what he was doing, because he knows there's a part of you he does not want you to discover. He wants to be able to tell you about what is destined to be into your life, because he wants you to stray away from your truth. There are certain things that he will do all he can to make sure you don't discover that. You lose people against you. You're using things that you love and cherish the most to ride against you for that. So that's a lot of times you are in, you're going to imprint on the life in a very in the world with your life in a major way. And he knows that. So he'll do everything he can to be able to manipulate and allow you to see your your destiny that's destined in the way he wants you to be able to see it. But God will allow you to see that through the master of your healing from the pain that you've carried for so long. But yeah, when you go through that first, actually we go through spiritual awakenings our whole life. Because a lot of times, like, Roslynn, how many times I got to go through that? I cannot answer that to you, because I can't, because I don't know a lot of different things. Everything, there's a lot of things that's deep rooted. And so it's going to have to be going through repetitive cycles. And, and for that to happen, you're going to keep going through that until God sees that you are breaking away from all things that can really distract you, really, tearing you away from your purpose, on doing that. So it's like when you'll notice that things get really bad, you start, he'll start whispering to you. Like I said, on Constantine, if you watch that movie, you will see, I forgot what that guy's name is from Gwen Stefani's ex-husband. He was in it. And he was, one of them devil's dealers, you know and those are handlers. They influence a lot of different things, but also there's angels that protect you, and they change the sequence that God intervened on for your protection. You may not know about it until after it happens, but these are the things that are taking place where you cannot allow the devil to mislead you in certain ways, and if he feels a certain way, that certain things is going through major transitions, he just don't want that. He gonna do everything he possibly can to go ahead and stop that. So hopefully you'll be able to resonate with the subject of this video, content of this video, whatever you want to talk about, insight of this video. Hopefully you can be able to relate to it. I've been gone for a while, so I've been doing different things that I had to catch up on. But, I always love coming back to this. It really helps me as well. It's like a positive outlet for me to be able to learn a lot more about myself and recognize different things through, my videos, but just being able to help other people as well. You never know what you may need, and gives you guidance where you need it at. And that's why I really, really love my purpose, to be able, because there's so many people that tell me, this has really helped me in a way. Because there are certain times you may doubt yourself on certain things. And it's like, are you being heard? Is this something that you're projecting out that somebody may need, or it could be very helpful? And I always tend to get that, through different things that y'all write back to me. So I'm glad I can be able to help you out as you're helping me as well. It's just a circle of life. So anyways, but thanks for stopping by. I hope y'all have a blessed, safe weekend. Please, please, please be responsible at every single thing you do. I hope whatever you're trying to manifest into your life, it comes so much bigger and better than you ever imagined. That whatever God's going to bless you with is going to bring you to your knees. And and allowing it to come as sooner than you ever expected it to. I would love to give a post notification shout out to Emma Menard. Welcome to the fam. Thank you. It's so good to have you. Cleo Tremanis. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I apologize if I didn't. Welcome to the fam as well. Shannon Gasaway. Much love to you. Welcome to the fam. And don't trust in man. Oh, Jesus. Oh, welcome to the fam. It's good to have you. Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Drop a line. I would love the chance to get to know you. And I'll leave my contact information in the description box below as well. And also to the link to my podcast that you can be able to get interested in. Is a lot of my podcast audio is on Spotify and different ones that I've connected with as well. So hopefully you can be able to catch something out of that as well. Even through social distancing, make sure you give out love, light, positivity, words, vibes, frequencies. You never know. All those things can really take somebody a long way. And, hopefully this will be able to, connect with you in some kind of way, can, give you an insight about something that you may have needed, or maybe you didn't know you needed. So talk to you. Well, you'll talk to me on the next one, or see me on the next one. Much love. Peace.